talked about like some of the things that were available when I was younger, like there were drop-in centers and so on and so forth. And somewhere where a lot of the kids, particularly African American males, a lot of them live in communities that are 80% headed by female households, so they don't have good role models around at all, you know. And so some of them don't have a lot of contact. And I was telling them when I used to go to school when my son was little, the kids that were like maybe kindergarten, by lunchtime I was their daddy. But now when I go to school, by the time they get to 9th grade, which is high school, used to be 10th, now those same kids are like this because they usually don't have good male role models in their lives, and so they tend to be a little estranged from me. Just like before we came here, a young man walked by, and I talked to him, engaged him 2 or 3 times, because most people act like they don't want to talk, do want to talk. And so, what was your name? Margaret. Margaret was telling me, what could an old white lady do talking to somebody, a young black person? I said, well, remember, maybe you don't get a good reception, but minus a brain injury, everything ever happened in our lives recorded. I said, maybe somewhere down the line that person will remember, hey, has anybody white ever talked to you? They say, yeah, you know, old white woman tried to talk to me up there on 23rd Union 5 years ago or whenever it was. So I'm saying, engage people. So we talked about, also I want to know, before we get to this one, who works across the street? And I understand nobody works across the street that lives in the neighborhood. So,
something wrong with that.
Yes, something always wrong with that. And so, at the end, what we did was, of course, this is a bigger project here, but I think that you start with little things. And one of the little things I encourage people to do, black men in particular in attendance, if you could go, this is where you have a captive audience for sure, at school. Okay. If they're in school, if they're not learning nothing, it's better than being in the street. You know that if you've been in the street.
That's right.
So go to the school, volunteer, because black men in school minus athletics are like dinosaurs. Okay? They don't exist. They don't go to school. And when I tell people I go to school, they say, do you got a kid there? I said, no, I got a kid there. But I don't want your kid hit me in the head because I ain't never said nothing to him. So I think what you do on a one-on-one real fast is just make sure that when you see somebody young, everybody ain't killing everybody. Even in Chicago, if it was, it wouldn't be nobody left. So they make it sound like every young person got a gun, every young person gonna kill somebody. In the old days when bars come up, every black man carried a razor. Just let them tell them. All the young people ain't carrying guns. All of them don't want to hurt you. Most of them just want somebody to engage them. If you talk to them, some of them will be hostile, some of them won't, but at least you've made the effort. And you know they say nothing beats a failure but a try. And so I say just go out and spread an old analogy about we can count how many, seeds are in an apple, but nobody knows how many apples are in a seed. So when you spread them seeds, just spread them. You don't know which one's going to come up. So our thing was about, at the end of the day, trying to figure out a place where we could have maybe something, even in my mind, that stays open later. You know, because some kids don't go home on time. You know, maybe it's better for them to be in a place talking to one of us than be out in the street getting in trouble. So just make sure that you take the extra effort to speak to the males in particular, because we act like they're from another planet. Now they live here. These are our kids. It's somebody's baby. Okay, somebody in the community's baby. They don't get shipped in, they live here. So these guys are walking up down the street here. Now they're doing the same thing in Kent. I work in Kent. They in Des Moines, they're walking up down the street out there too. They're walking around with nothing to do. So just make sure you engage, and then the bigger picture, I guess, this is the first meeting, but my thing is I'm going to be back at Franklin, messing with BSU, trying to get that together. Because we got to get young people interested. See, if young people went over there and shut down that job, 100 young people over there is better than 1,000 old people over there. Because it says 100 young people want to do something. And every meeting I go to, you know who's absent? Young people. It's like having meeting for girls and all we got is boys. They get some girls to the meeting. I'm out.
We gotta keep rolling. Who's next? What's the next group? All right. Hey.
All right. Our group, we first started off doing they call it affinity diagrams, throwing us a post-it notes with the different stakeholders. And as we started to, brainstorm, put up these post-it notes, some different insights emerged in groups, and we started to group them. So the different groups we had were Afrocentric groups, and I'll just name a few for time. So Africatown, African Imports, African American, supported businesses, family-oriented activities, and community activities. Then we talked about different organizations, so very specific, like Earl's Custom Styles, Mount Calvary Church, Central Area LERC, USBA, Moser Peace Center, Black Community Impact Alliance. Another group was just economics is something else that came out, that emerged. So the concept of entitlement versus empowerment, worker-owned cooperatives, jobs and commuters. Another group was communities. So the different communities that emerged were tourists, children and families, senior citizens, investors. And then the last group was demographics. So the type of citizens, type of demographics you see by age. So youth, school, family, elders, and then by employment status, and also household type. So with that information, we took that and Dr. Sutton helped us draw a diagram of kind of what are all these different entities and how they, what's the ecosystem and the ecological view of this. And in the middle, we had worker-owned cooperatives, and out of that, we supported all of this community were local organizations, local entrepreneurs, and different types of entrepreneurs needed structures. So we have farmers markets, urban farming, and also maker spaces. And then also public and private funding to help make this happen, as well as education. So you can definitely see a cycle of the young teaching the old and the old teaching the young. And the type of people that would be involved with this are the different residents that are already here, local residents, so people in greater Seattle that come to this area, youth, seniors, and commuters. There's just shoppers, so people that come here to shop. Also, we have students, tourists, and cyclists. And that's just a snapshot of where the direction where we started going. I think we could probably do this all day because there are a lot of great ideas, and we started having some great conversations right before we ended. So that's what we had.
I think the central issue was envisioning a self-sufficient community, but one that was not closed, one that would support itself, but that would connect to the greater, the larger community.
Like Chinatown. It's not closed. Anybody can go buy Chinese food in Chinatown.
All right, next group. Y'all, thank you.
Okay, cameras make me nervous, I'm sorry.
You don't want cameras?
Yeah, I prefer that.